one of the things that I think that we know happens is that we as, I think, human beings, especially those of us who are driven, are subject to what neuroscientists call hedonic adaptation, which basically means that when something good happens, we notice it for a moment, and then we quickly move on to what's next and what's next after that. When something bad happens, when something doesn't go our way, we dwell on it. We sort of cycle through it over and over again. I mean, for my last book, the book I wrote before the one you held up, one of the groups I studied was professional poker players, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, like, tell me about the hands that you like won, the championship rounds that you won." And it was really interesting, Seth, because like very few of them could tell me anything of substantive detail. Like they knew which city they were in, they knew what competition they were in. Well, when I would ask them to tell me about the hands that they lost with Shakespearean detail, they could tell me everything. You know, what they were wearing, what the people around the table were wearing, like what was the weather like outside, how did
Right.
it feel
The
inside?
drama,
The
you know?
drama, the drama, because they had replayed that negative event over and over again. And that tends to be the way the human mind works. We spin on the negative events and we sort of dismiss the positive ones. And I'm not pointing this out because I think that we need to spend more time focusing on positive events for happiness. But by the way, if we do, we will become happier people. But the problem that I'm really focused on is that when we dismiss positive events, we actually make us much less resilient to the next time something negative happens, right? Because what ends up happening is we have like this Netflix of negative memories in our head. And we have this very sparse catalog of positive memories, right? Because we didn't spend much time really reflecting on them.
Yeah.
And what happens then is we get hit with a setback or something doesn't go our way, and we immediately sort of jump to, well, oh my God, this always happens to me, right? Because I have this negative memory catalog to like draw on. I can see the patterns very clearly here, but I can't see the patterns very clearly in the positive side. And that can be one of the reasons that we end up burning out, one of the reasons we get exhausted. So, one of the very practical things that we can start to do is not to be Pollyannish or to be like overly optimistic, but to just start leveling the playing field between negative and positive, right? And what that means is that when something good happens in your life, whether it be big or whether it be small, taking a little bit of an active moment to savor that, right?
Mm.
And literally just, it could be a 1 minute break, but literally just taking a moment to let that thing sink in. Because when you do that, you memorialize it. You actually store it. And
Yeah.
every time you store a positive memory, it makes you that much more resilient for the next time that something doesn't go your way.